Hey everybody, welcome on back to Diary of a Faithful Child. We're gonna send one here about being alone because I recorded a podcast and I went to clip the podcast and I realized that I was trying to describe being alone using the word alone too much, and it's hard to describe by doing that. So might insert the clip right here just to let y'all kind of see what's going on. I'll post a clip later, but I wanted to talk just about being alone, how you're not really alone, but you are alone. There are things you got to do individually, all that fun stuff. So let's just get, I guess, right on into it. Gonna just kind of go on a rant again. These are one of those things. Don't have notes, don't have anything. Just gonna speak my mind because this is something that I keep coming across. I'm gonna end up writing a book, and that book's name I've already decided is going to be You're Not Alone. But then I came across this idea that you are alone and you do have to be self-sufficient. But at the same time, you're not. So just going to cut through that real quick. So being alone, when I was depressed and all of that, suicidal, everything like that, in my mind, I was alone. In my mind, when I would sit there at the gym, when I'm thinking and when you're talking to that voice in your head, you're alone. But I also had friends that I'd go and hang out with every single day, or friends that I would smoke with or drink with or whatever it may be, call my family. And then I'm slightly not alone. But I think the disconnect is finding someone who went through what you went through. So for me, it was military, veteran, getting out and all that fun stuff. And I ended up not being able to connect with my family or get advice from my family because they weren't going through it. So I felt alone. So this ties into community. So then I go and I find veterans or my buddies from the Army or whatever, and I'm able to talk to them. And when talking to them, I don't feel as alone. However, when I get home, I am. So I came across, like, it's a pretty interesting thing when you think about being alone, because everybody here on Earth is in their own mind and alone. I don't know what that stat is about people not having internal dialogue. It's something crazy, like, I don't know, 30% of America, something crazy. They don't have internal dialogues. But for me, for instance, I'm walking around and I'm talking to myself in my head. And I may be fighting something in my head. When I was going through divorce, I was fighting what's my problem in my head, or what did I do wrong in my head. All these things were in my head. But I could come out and talk to somebody about it. Then you think about, let's say I go to the gym. There's how many other people in there battling their own mind in their head. That's why a lot of people go to the gym anyways, but they're battling in their head as well. So by the time, I would say I'm 25, so I think I know everything, but I don't. I know I don't. So let's say by the time we're age 25, we've been battling in our head, I would say probably about 10 years. Ever since I would say I started at age 12 battling, being really conscious of my battle in my head. And then we get to 25. Now we got other 25 or older people, and we're experienced in battling ourselves in our head. And that's why people like David Goggins, because he's been battling himself. That's the one battle he's taken on his whole life, and that's his niche, is battling yourself in your head. But he battles alone in the moment. But then he goes and talks to podcasters. He goes and writes a book. So all these other people feel like they are not alone in their battle. But I think this is the big disconnect, is why a lot of people commit suicide, is because they believe in the moment they're alone. Like when I'm holding a gun to my head, I wasn't thinking about anyone else. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I'm by myself thinking I am the only one with this problem. I cannot fix this, and I am alone. But everybody's battling that. So you're not alone. We're not alone. We have a community of people on this earth that have all been battling this. It goes back to even Marcus Aurelius, and I'm sure it goes back further, but that's who I like to return to. He's battling all alone. Go through his journals. He's battling all alone. But he shares his story and now helps me feel not alone. I think that just the thing to kind of wrap this all up, it's a quick video just because it's been on my mind, is the reaching your hand out and asking for help. So as a man, especially a military, former veteran, I don't like asking for help. My dad doesn't. I've been following my dad hates it. to look out the window and he's digging a hole, trying to climb the roof for gutters, digging a hole for irrigation. The dude will not ask for help in anything he does. The military, you don't ask for help, because if I ask for help in the military, I look stupid. You look stupid, now you're made fun of, and it's a whole thing. You never ask for help. I'll go find the answer myself. But there's times you need to ask for help. When I'm holding a gun to my head, I finally realize I need to ask for help. Call a bunch of people, somebody answers. It's the realizing you need to ask for help. You understand what you don't know. You understand you cannot fight this alone, and there's no shame in that. That's the problem. People think there's shame in it. There's the little stigma. But we're all here to fight together. That's what community is. That's what we've been doing since Kingdom Come. You have to be able to reach your hand out and let people know, because to me, I'm walking around, I could see everybody alone. But to walk up to somebody and ask them, how you doing? Nobody answers, really. I mean, you're not supposed to. That's that whole, Tom Segura bit? You're not supposed to answer that question for real. When I ask you how you do, you're supposed to get good if you're having an all right day, or bad day, or great if you're having a great day. You don't go into this whole story about how you're doing. So the only people that can help you is the people you tell. And that how you doing, that little exchange you're not supposed to tell her. That's like the thing. And, don't burden me with your problems, right? So you need to go to somebody you can burden. It's not even a burden because they're your friend. If they're your friend, they're not burdened. Friend, family, best friend, whatever it is, they're not going to be burdened by your problems. They'll be way more burdened if you take your own life. So when you think about, oh no, where do I get this answer from? I'm alone, whatever. And you go down this depression rabbit hole and you don't know what to do and you're anxious all the time. You don't want to bring it up to anybody because you feel like a burden. Think about the burden you are. One, not being yourself around the people who have known you for however long. That was my issue. That's a burden in and of itself because I'm walking around with my family, talking to my family, living in their house, but I'm not myself. So now they're already trying to figure out what's going on. I'm not talking to them about what's going on. Well, mainly because I wasn't able to comprehend it myself. So I understand the situation. Once I understand the situation, I can tell my family and ask for help. But you won't ever really understand completely why you're in this state. I just posted a clip yesterday about this. My guest on the show, Clint Murphy, episode 4 of Saving 22. You got to check out the podcast tab on the channel. Oh no, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm sorry. So you're focused on what's my problem, what's causing depression. The cause, it doesn't really matter. Just focus on your feeling. The cause, you don't really know. You'll find out later. You need to focus on the solution first. I was focused on the cause for about 2.5 years without focusing on the solutions. I was analyzing my problem. I was getting kicked out of the military for medical discharge, and I got divorced while I was overseas. Or it all happened while I was overseas, same difference. So I'm trying to process these two things while selling my house and knowing that I'm losing my whole life that I just built up in the military and moving back home with my parents. So for about 8 months, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'll tell you right now, I smoked too much during that time. Smoked weed, not cigarettes. Too much during that time, and it prolonged the process. So anybody listening, if you're trying to figure something out or if you're anxious, depressed, whatever it may be, the smoking weed did not help me in that time. It helped me relax, and that's good. Moderation is good. That's what I'm doing now. Smoking, 3 times a week instead of every day. You cannot be high every day all the time. You pick a time. I don't smoke during the day. If the sun's out, don't smoke. Maybe special occasions, something like that, because personally I wasn't comfortable with myself enough to drink, and I knew smoking, I'm not going to get into trouble. I'm not going to be putting myself in danger. I'm not going to be attempting suicide, stuff like that. I knew drinking, I would be close to suicide, that type of stuff. So I ended up smoking. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out the cause of my depression and the sadness and everything. I knew the cause. All those things I just listed. That was simple enough. Those are the causes. That's it. I don't need to be thinking about this for how long. Now, my divorce, I wanted to get to the bottom of it so that I could be a better man for the future wife that I do have. So that took me a little longer, and I'm thinking about that. But there's no reason to be depressed while thinking about that. Yeah, it's sad I got divorced, but I'm not going back. That's decision we all had to make, or I had to make. I'm not going back to her anyways. So I need to figure out what I did wrong so I can help the next lady I'm with. That's not too bad, but focusing on it for a year and a half, Jordan Peterson says 18 months is when you should be getting over your trauma. That's like the average time frame of when you should be able to process the trauma and move on. So I was focused on that. And that's the average. You go faster, you go slower, but that's the average. And I was focusing too much on the cause, and I wasn't focusing on the solutions. And when you start focusing on the solutions, how do I get out of bed instead of what caused me to lay in bed? You start figuring out life more. And in that stuff, I mean, if you're stuck in bed, you are alone. You have to figure that out alone. You have to do whatever you have to do to get to the point where you could ask for help. That's what being alone is. When you can't ask for help, you're alone. Once you start asking for help, you're no longer alone. You can move on. You ask for help, and now you got a community. And that's what this channel's for. That's what my podcast is for. That's what everything I have is for, is to start asking for help, because that's the main reason why veterans are taking their life. They don't ask for help. And now nobody knows the issue with veterans and why veterans are taking their life, because we don't have the people to be expressing why they're doing it. There's no people to understand the veteran situation, because we're 1% of the population here in America. Nobody can start understanding that population unless we speak up. And if you're taking your life, you can't speak up. Now nobody knows the solution. So that's being alone. If you have anything you want to talk to me about, if you want to share anything, if you want to hop on a call, if you really want to do anything, DM my Twitter. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. That link will be in the description below. If there's anything you want to add, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, comment below. Anything you want to add, anything goes. I'm completely open book. That's how I've always been. People know, and that's just what I believe is the solution to this whole alone situation that we believe we're in, while we have internet and I could talk to anybody on the earth within a second by just searching their name. That's the disconnect. We need to start asking for help. So if you need that, if you need to ask for help, you know where to find me. Check out my podcast. It's for veterans. I don't strictly have veteran guests on, so if you're somebody who went through something and you're able to help and share your story to help veterans, please DM. I'd love to get you on the show. Love to have more guests. I always want more guests. Always, always, always. So if you know anybody, if you yourself, friend, family, brother, sister, cousin, whatever it is, hit me up, and I would love to get them on the show. Love to get you on the show. And with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Next week, I should have a podcast out. We will see. If not, it'll be another one of these, another video. Who knows what the topic will be. I just like, shooting the shit, as they say. So peace out, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helped somebody. And keep a smile on your face.